Hello and welcome back to another week at Drone DJ. This week, we thought with the Air 3 released last week, we might as well do a full lineup of price comparison. So today, it's all about the money.
Yeah, because the biggest question I think we get all the time is which drone should we get? Like what's the best DJI drone? And I think if you asked us maybe 2 years ago, year and a half, even a year and a half, maybe a year ago, it was pretty straightforward. Like you had the Mavic series for your professional uses, you had your Air for your hobbyists and photography uses, and then you had your Mini for entry. And now it's kind of thrown out the window of which is the best drone because it's kind of now really reliant on what you need to
It's
do.
blurred the lines a bit.
Yeah, it's how much do you want to spend and what do you actually need the drone to do, and that's kind of what determines what drone you should get at this point now.
And we did find some interesting facts about different drone package pricing too. So
Yeah,
let
you were
me
showing me them
share.
beforehand, and I
Yeah.
was like
Well,
a
first of all,
little shocked.
I'll let Kirk run through, all the typical drone package and questions.
Yeah,
And then I'm gonna take the conversation to the next step. It's okay, once you pick your main drone, what happens with your different options and accessories?
yeah. So I'm working through an article. I think I'm gonna get it readied up and finished tonight. That kind of breaks down all of the current drone options you can kind of buy, like what
Non-enterprise, I should
yeah, not enterprise, just
specify.
consumer, just not even consumer, just photo drones. If you're looking to capture video, capture photo while in the air using DJI's products, kind of like what, hey, my tweet worked. Nice. I did it. We finally tweeted out that we're live this time and it worked. Let's go. I'm sorry, posted, not tweeted, posted. No longer tweeting, it's posting. The kind of like breaking down what drones, like what area do you want to be. So I broke it down pretty much into three groups, a fourth subgroup because I kind of forgot about it
This
until
is Kirk's group, not DJI group or
yeah,
any.
this is what I've decided, kind of like breaks it down. So pretty much the three groups I'm looking at right now, are you entry level, you just getting into it, or if you just want to post it for social media. The second group would be you're a hobbyist or entry level professional, and then the third is pretty much I do this for a living. So the breakdown, kind of that first group, is pretty straightforward. If you're entry level, or if you're just doing social media posts, like if you're a content creator, but only like on Instagram, you're only on Instagram or Snapchat kind of people who like posting on there. They're really the best. Anything mini wise is pretty much where you're going to be at. We have before it was pretty straightforward entry level. You just got to whatever the standard mini is. Now it's kind of like where you want, how much features do you want? Because we
And
have
what kind of
drones like
controller do you want?
what controller do you want? Because we have the Mini 2 SE, the Mini 3, and then the Mini 3 Pro. Now, for me personally, if someone comes to me and it goes, I just want to buy my friend or my kid or my grandkid a drone that isn't going to be doing anything crazy, but like just get them in the flying, like the Mini 2 SE is like for the price is phenomenal. I mean, it's
It's no
everything you
longer
need.
on the DJI's official comparison page.
Yeah, it's not. They want to obviously get you the higher stuff, but the comparison, like it's on their their standard
And but even if you
edition.
look at just the Mini 3 with the N1 controller, which you can still put a tablet or put a phone, right? This
Yeah, I
is
think they have a tablet
it's
conversion.
419, so you're looking at below $500 for the base unit.
Yeah,
So if I were to look at any of the like $200 drones from either Costco or Amazon, then to me the extra $200 for something like this that's better user experience, still has a good camera, stabilized camera. Because the
hmm
challenge I find with any of the toy drone class, couple of $100 range, is they
yeah,
don't really have a stabilization like camera stabilization. So to me, a
yeah,
couple of $100 is totally worth it for this.
yeah. Yeah. I think the Mini 2 SE is like I got like 100, $160 less than the Mini 3, and I think the main difference is that between the two is the first the true vertical shooting if you want social media stuff, and then I think it's 2.7K the Mini 2 SE does, and then it's 4K 30 on the Mini 3. And then pretty much if you're looking for that boost up into the Mini 3 Pro, you're getting 4K 60 versus 4K 30, and then you're getting obstacle avoidance ish. You're getting front, back, and bottom obstacle avoidance, and then you're getting master shots, which for any
Which is
sort of
nice. Which is
which is
really
for any
nice.
for a content creator, you don't really have to try. It lowers the bar for what you really have to do. Master shots, quick shots, like are really great, and so those options really make it. It is important to note though, from David, that you can get refurbished is also an option too. It kind of something you always forget.
You only know this it's not from everywhere.
Yeah,
With
not every drone has them refurbished, and also
DJI,
like
and plus depending on where you are, DJI does filter out. For example, in Canada, I can't see it. They actually filter out based on IP address.
interesting. I didn't know that they blocked that in Canada. But yeah, if you're in an area where you can find refurbished drones, that's always an option. Like even getting if you're looking in the hobbyist area, we talk in the next level, which is going to be the Air 3 level type drone, Air 3, Mavic 3 Classic, and then the what was it Mini 3 Pro area. There's overlap between all the drones. Getting a refurbished Mavic 3, like a regular Mavic 3, would be great, because that's a solid option as well. But for that entry level though, like Mini, there's nothing wrong with getting the Mini. It's cheap, it's capable, and it can do a lot. So
Well,
next up,
just like how
okay.
you mentioned earlier, it's also about how much do you want to spend. Like
Yeah.
how much is this? And it's not about can you afford it. It's more about how much does drone actually mean to you, right? Because for some people that can be their second hobby, can
Yeah.
be wherever they go, they take one with them. But for some people, it can just be okay. When weather is nice, once in a while, I take it for a spin.
Yeah, and this is also so many other factors that go into this. Like, are you a hobbyist and you go hiking a lot? If you can hear my dog, we have our dog sitting on the dog today. So when one dog barks, the other one dog goes full speed barking. So you're gonna hear a lot of that today. Because if you're a hobbyist and you like hiking, so you might not get the Air because the Air might be too big for your backpack, so you get the Mini. Whatever fits into your use cases. But for this fight, it's like more like just general, like what your use case is and how much you want to spend. Because for hobbyists, the next level up for hobbyists and like kind of entry level professionals, we have overlap with the Mini 3 Pro, then the Air, and then the Mavic 3 Classic, because all three of those are within that $1,000 to $1,600 range.
The base rate is, I would say, Mini 3 Pro depending on the controller, but yeah, you're looking at you can get away with a $1,000 base rate. So this is Mavic 3 Pro. Let's see, where is Classic?
Yeah, because the Class I think comes in at 1,600. I think it is. I think it's like right on that top, like just for the base version. If you're looking, this is really like you really like flying drones. You want to do it a lot, bring it everywhere you go, like kind of like what I do and what a lot of us do. And you want something a little bit higher quality, because the Mini 3 Pro, it's going to be small and easy to carry around, and you get all the kind of like you get a lot of flagship features in the Mini 3 Pro.
But let's say if you fly in big open space, open water a lot, if it's windy quite a bit for your area, then you need a bigger drone.
You want to go
don't
larger
get tossed around that much.
Yeah, like the Air 3 would be better if it's windy, it's going to be heavier, and same thing with the Mavic.
And obstacle avoidance, tracking, everything is also better. So if you fly, let's say in wooded areas a lot, lots of objects and things around, then a better sensor with better obstacle avoidance would definitely come in handy.
And I think this is kind of the important part to talk about whether or not you need. It's 5.1K, correct, on the Mavic series?
Mavic 3.
Yeah, on the Hasselblad
Mavic
camera.
3 series, yeah.
Yeah, so this is where we get to talk about, do you really need 5.1K or not? Because if you don't need 5K, like if you absolutely don't need 5K,
but if you're the geek, right, which some of them are on my team, if you're the geek, that doesn't matter the price, you just want the next level up, whichever is the better one.
Yeah, but for those people that they're building out production and they're on a tight budget, like, do you need 5K or can you go with 4K? Like the Air is, in my opinion, like, yes, you get a smaller sensor compared to the Air 2S, unless maybe you go with the Air 2S versus the Air 3 because you might want the 5.4K and a 1-inch sensor.
But if you're filming documentary, Air 3 is actually super handy.
Air 3 would be great, yeah, because you can fly higher up and you can do you can fly further away with the 70 millimeters, so you're not like super close. If you want to do something more like maybe some nature photography, because
you don't want to get too close.
You won't get too close and disturb any like birds or any like animals, or you're doing some sort of like in city. You don't want to be flying like hovering over houses or hovering over cars, stuff like that. That using the 70 millimeter or going up to something like the Mavic 3 Pro with its which I think I have the newer ND filters on this one. And getting like the 7x zoom with a 168 millimeters, something like that. That would be great. Actually, I think the 168 is really the place to go with that.
Can I just say, I find it interesting, the order. I'm a bit OCD, right? So when I look at the order from the DJI website, it just bothers me. Why
Oh yeah.
don't you go with the high to low or low to high? Like why is it a mixture?
Why is it Air 3 3
It just
Pro
so
3? Then
bothers me.
I mean, at least I give it to him that it's a 3, then a 3 Pro, then a 3, then a 3 Pro. But like it should go Mavic 3 Pro, Air 3, Air 3, Mini 3 Pro, Mini 3. But whatever.
Like pick one end, right? Pick one end and go from there.
Yeah. So yeah. So this is kind of like depending on this is where like the biggest question is so hard because it really just depends on what you need. Do you need something smaller or something larger? But when we're talking about when like I do this for a living, that next phrase up, this is my job. I do this for a living. Why? I told myself, dang it, I was gonna go grab the Inspire 3 out, but I didn't. I forgot. It's still in the suitcase over in the other room. But like I do this for a living, and I'm gonna wait for the
And you
3
can go all the way up to Inspire 3.
Yeah, this is where like you need probably like maybe you need Apple ProRes, capability. So that's where you're gonna get the Inspire 3 or the Mavic 3 Pro Cine
That's when
versions
you
and stuff
get
like
into
that.
13,000 range for the base, and that does not include the payload. Oh, sorry, it does
Yeah,
not include
doesn't
lenses.
include the payload. Doesn't include. I don't think it includes the
Doesn't
controller
include the
either.
lenses, and because it's interchangeable lens, so you
Yeah,
have to
yep,
add all the additional lenses. I think they have 5 in total.
yeah.
So you're
So
looking at, and then you need the Pro SSD drive. So you're looking at 20,000 plus to be comparable with the ready to fly drones that has the fixed camera and fixed lens, right?
yeah, and I have a little bit of a hot take because this comes over from my photography days when still photography days, but when I would help people with choosing out cameras for digital regular photography, and they would be like, "Well, should I get the 1DX?" I'm like, first of all, are you making a living doing photography? No, don't get the 1DX. So a little bit of a hot take where like I really want the best drone. And I'm not talking about Inspire 3, I'm talking like maybe like Mavic 3 Pro, Cine. You don't need if you're not doing this for a living, you don't need the Mavic 3 Pro Cine. You don't like you
Okay.
don't waste your money on it.
Need to, want to are not always the same thing.
Yes,
And
if you really,
photography,
really
I mean,
want to and you can
photography is
afford
a
it,
very expensive
yeah,
hobby, right? If you look
yeah,
at, I compare like the photographers who spend so much money on the proper zoom
mhm,
lens setup. That alone is probably the price of your Inspire 3.
yeah. So if you really, really want it and you can afford it, I can't stop you from buying it, of course. But here's something I tell a lot of photographers getting into the digital photography scene. If you can't take good photos or video with a cheaper, like Rebel series camera,
More expensive
buying
equipment isn't
buying the
gonna,
1DX, buying
it's not the
the
solution.
Canon R3, it's not going to make your photos any better. So learning the skills on a cheaper drone and learning the ability to do things on a cheaper drone, it kind of transfers over the same way that you're getting the experience, getting the flight time, and you're not going to, if it ends up this isn't your thing, that is less of a bank hurting purchase than like going to the top tier
And I'm just
right
gonna
away.
mention hobby for a sec. I think there are different types of hobbies. If you look at
Yeah.
mountain bikers, if you look at even the road bikes, those things are really expensive if you
Hmm.
get the proper ones, right? And not everyone competes or rides them on a daily basis. Or like you mentioned, photographers, like traditional still photographers with a really expensive camera and lens sets, those are also expensive hobbies. So there's
Tell
I
me
think
about
as
it.
far as expensive hobbies go, I can probably find a lot more hiking, for example. Hiking,
Yep.
any outdoor camping, the gear adds up together is really no cheaper than drones.
Yeah, and to touch on like the release parts coming out a lot, like it's like cell phones. Yeah, it is because we're looking at this is not going to be probably the last drone that comes out this year. From other companies probably going to come out. I don't know if Autel. I know Autel wants to come out with second versions of their Light and Nano series, so we could be seeing those as well come out. The biggest criticism of the Air 3 was that it was fairly underwhelming as a product. Like there's nothing about it that like stood out to be like, man, this is like next generation drone wise, other than maybe 04. Like everyone I've talked to who's flown it have been like, this is like transmission wise, like connection wise, it is the best out of any of the drones. Because it's just so much better. Unlike when the Mavic 3 Pro or even the Mavic 3 came out in general with 2 cameras, like, and then this one came out with 3 cameras, like that was kind of mind bending. I think, that they're just going to throw 2 cameras or more cameras on a drone versus other options. But
And then
so
we have
now,
something
yeah,
entirely different.
yeah. So like, and that goes into like the next one because I think is this the camera on the Avada? That's also a 1/1.3, right?
Similar to Mini 3 Pro. Yeah.
Yeah, Yeah, so another thing to point out before we just dive into the Avada is that a lot of the cameras on these drones like carry over. So like the cameras on the Air 3 are the same cameras on the Mini 3 Pro. And then the Mini 3 Pro camera, the Mini 3 camera is just I don't think that's even a change of camera specs. I think it's a change of chip specs. So that's why it only does 4K 60. And then the 70 millimeter on the Mavic 3 Pro is the same, is also a 1.3. So like they're reusing a lot of the camera systems, and the Avada has a 1.3. So if you're thinking the 70 millimeter on the Mavic 3 Pro is better than the 70 millimeter on the Air 3, that's probably not true. I have not done a side by side on them, but I don't think that's true. If it is, I probably wouldn't be able to tell the difference anyways. So yeah, like the changes between all the different drones are just like have gone down so much, so lower that like it's gonna be difficult now to really choose a better drone.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
going back to pricing, we're looking at, so basically what you have is you have the under 1,000 bracket, right?
yep,
Then you have between 1,000 to 2,000, which gives you the Air 3 or even Avata.
yep,
And then you have 2,000 plus, that's your Mavic 3 series, either, Pro, Cine, regardless. And then you have from there, that's taking it to the next level with Inspire 3
yep.
series.
Like how they still have Inspire 2 on there you can buy. Like how that's still, I didn't realize that was still an option. So
Yes, Inspire 2 is still an option. Um, and don't forget, drones are cameras. We're talking about camera drones. Right? So what's the rule of thumb? The rule of thumb in the camera world is if you spend $1,000 on the camera body, you better be prepared to spend the same amount, right, on accessories, lens. I mean, not even talking about fancy lens, because sometimes
yeah,
those can be more expensive than the camera.
cases and stuff like that.
Cases, yeah. So basically, you're looking at equivalent amount of money on accessories, which takes me to same thing if you're buying any of the base drones. Let's take, I wanted to talk about Mavic 3 Pro. So take about, you look at essentials. What do you need? You need the fly more kit. You need 2 more batteries, multi-battery charger. If you do any videos, you probably need ND filters. You probably
Yep.
need DJI stop supplying the power supply to a lot of their drones. So
Yeah,
you may
you
need,
might want to buy a 100-watt charger.
yeah,
Like
100-watt
yeah,
charger. And then case, right? If you have more than one drone, or if you're picky about how the
yep,
camera bag comes in with the drone, if you want to fit everything together with your main camera rather than just, a bag for the drone and then bag for camera and bag for other things. So it does add up from there. So watch out, what kind of
yeah.
accessories you're actually getting. Across DJI's lineup, not all the drones have, you would think, okay, it's the drone, fly more kit, right? Filter
Mhm.
sets, those are usually the accessory base accessory kits we're looking at. But one thing I found yesterday, just for Mavic 3 Pro, I found it very interesting because if you look at the price difference between the Mavic 3 Pro with DJI RC and add the Fly More combo, so the price difference is $750.
Yep.
But if I look at the Mavic 3 Fly More kit, it's only $539. So I was scratching my head and thinking, how can the package, how can the combo be more expensive than the fly market? And then I realized, okay, if I go for the combo, I'm getting obviously the bag. Well, actually, fly more kit comes with a bag too, so I'm getting filter sets and I'm getting the power supply. And
Yep.
am I seeing, like, is there anything else that's in the
I think
combo that's not in the fly market?
yeah, I don't think so. I mean you're getting, I don't know. I feel like bundling should always be cheaper, but I guess if you're getting those two items, isn't the ND filters like $200, I think? I'm pretty certain those are like 200 for the Pro at least. I know they're like 100 or something like that for the Air and the Mini. But I don't know.
It
It's
just
like
it seemed like a lot to me, and I'll tell you
yeah.
what I ended up buying.
If you're buying it just for the extra batteries, like it's probably not worth it. It's probably better to just go get
Well, so the
the
specific
Fly More
client I
kit.
was helping with, she already had other drones. So she had the
Mhm.
power supply already, and she has a specific camera bag that fits everything. So she didn't need any of that. She had, a different place that she likes to go to for filters. So
Yeah.
what we ended up doing is actually not getting this one, but we ended up getting the enterprise battery kit for the Mavic 3 because it's the same batteries, same charger.
Yeah.
But you get 3 batteries charger for $599 versus this Fly More combo is additional 750, right?
Yep.
So I
So
find that sometimes when you look at accessories, maybe you really have to do the math, pull up an Excel or something and put them side by side because not all the drones are the same. And if you want to be smart with what you're getting, then take a look at if it's the same drone system like for Mavic 3. It's interesting. The batteries are the same across the board for enterprise
Mhm.
Mavic 3s and the camera Mavic 3s, right? And that applies to your Mavic 3 Classic, your just a regular Mavic 3, Mavic 3 Pro, Mavic 3 Cine. That's all the same battery.
Yep. So yeah, and that's yeah. It's crazy that like now we have to like look into the combos as much. It's not as simple as just buying the fly more combo. If you're already like if you're just replacing drones with drones you already have, like it might not be. Hopefully I wonder if one day they'll standardize the battery across like more than one platform. Uh, Probably
I
not.
highly,
Maybe.
I highly doubt that.
It would be cool if they like took like the Mavic like the
Okay, can you swap cell phone batteries?
No, that's true. But like, wouldn't it be like awesome if like the Avada 2 or whatever used the same batteries as the Air 3 or something? Like
I know, I know. It's
that
one
would
of
be
those
kind of
would
cool.
be nice, but
Would be so nice. All those things that would be nice. But speaking of the Avada, I got to fly that the first time last week, and that is fun as hell. Um, so that's like the fourth. Like I forgot about this when I started writing the article, so now I have to fit it in there. So this is the temporary fourth group of I just want a fun drone to
yeah,
fly.
I'm calling it. If you get bored easily,
If you get bored easily and just like I want to go fly something, buy this because that is insanely fun to fly. It also does take some pretty cool shots. Like if you're into the if you want to get into the FPV Cine Whoop era, because that's not any of our specialties, but this makes it so easy, especially with the motion controller. Like I got it. I've never flown FPV before. The guy put the goggles on me. I grabbed the controller and it was just like, all right, press and go, move. Like it was within like 30 seconds. Like it was like fine. Like I knew what I was doing. And one guy one guy put it on and flew through fencing. Like it was like that
Mhm.
wood, like two planks of wood fence, and there was like maybe like 8 inches in between the two wood planks. And we're just sitting there. I think I was flying the like the TL2, and all of a sudden just a Vada just go boom, right through the fencing and like out. And it's just like, did you just fly through the fence? Yeah. It's like sick.
I
So
actually have I have 9 tires from previous cars, and
mhm.
I'm actually painting them and setting them up on our training field. So we're setting up a FPV course there.
Nice. That's smart. Yeah, because that's good training. Because you could probably do that easily with this one with the motion controller.
Well, what we're doing is we're actually setting up like a time board. So we
Okay.
have a small Avata club now that there's enough people flying it. So
Ooh,
everyone gets to
cool.
fly. You have to complete, let's say, all 9 tires within one battery, and then you get timed, and it goes on the board.
Nice, nice. Yeah, there's actually some cool testing I learned last week. We could talk about another week of like how to test your drone skills that I learned. And I gotta try them out. Hopefully I can get someone to with enough buckets to let me try it out one day in a big field. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much the entire lineup. I do want to like showcase David's mentioned that when you're looking at the professional level, you're not buying you're not just buying a camera, you're buying a whole system. Which when you're in that level, like if you're buying the Inspire 3, like, yeah, you're not the whether or not what the drone can kind of do is different because like you're looking at, okay, can I replace the camera on it? Can I replace, and maybe DJI might not even play the place to go. Maybe you need to go to Alta X or something like that and fly, get their system to
Yeah,
fly your
customized.
red cameras on it or something. If you're at that level, I mean, especially if you're at that level, money is less of a problem. Well, it is a problem, but like you're not looking at hundreds of dollars, you're looking at thousands of dollars.
Oh, trust me, at that level, anything
Yeah.
can be solved by money. It's not a problem.
You just go out and find more money and you solve your problems. So we're more the consumer side or the all-in-one system side, we're looking at you're really got to look over like, do you want to spend the extra $100 or not for a feature, and is it actually worth it to you, or can you get away with a cheaper product,
And
which nowadays
my
is very
final
possible.
note on what would be nice is would be nice if DJI allows or opens up their system for SIM cards in North America.
Hmm. That would be
'Cause they're
interesting.
supposed to be 4G compatible, right, on the newer drones from DJI. So I really wish they would have the SIM cards open up in North America.
Yeah, I don't do a lot of that, so that would be interesting to see that's using that product, using that kind of system. So
And it's putting it a step closer at cell phones.
it would be. Oh, at that point, then you're getting a new Mavic every year and minimal upgrades. And is
Then
it worth spending the
you pay
next
on a
another
monthly basis. You
$2,000?
figured out your monthly budget,
When is
and then
DJI?
that's
When
the
is
cost you're committed to, right?
you just said it's pay $200 a month and you just get the latest drone from DJI? It's just the
That would
DJI
be
Plus.
nice.
Yeah. Um, when do you think, yeah, DJI is going to start building their own SoC, and at that point, you just have like the DJI 2 chip, and every year it just updates the chip.
Hmm.
Oh boy,
Well,
we don't need to go down the iPhone route.
well, we need an episode of it would be nice.
It would be nice. So that's kind of our breakdown, though, for the kind of the DJI lineup. It's as confusing, and I think we all think it is. It's not as straightforward as it used to be. But don't forget, one last item. Don't forget those older drones. Air 2S is still a phenomenal product, and you can probably still find it kicking around. I think it's still on
At a
sale.
discount. Yeah, you can still find it at a discount.
I think it's still on sale at DJI. You can probably find it on eBay secondhand.
Even some of the retailers still have them. Like some of the warehouses still have them,
Yep.
and they're actually on sale.
So if you're looking at getting that, or I don't know if going down to a Mavic 2 is worth it, but maybe finding an older Mavic 3. It's literally the same cameras, other than I think the zoom doesn't do. Yeah, oh yeah, we don't need to get into the political system. Oh boy,
Remember,
oh boy,
we're talking about it would be nice.
oh boy. We don't need to open up that can of worms, because that would be crazy. So, anyways, yeah, yeah, choose carefully, and make sure you're choosing a purposeful drone that you need, and that you can either use properly or grow into when you're purchasing a drone. So
So that's all for this week. We'll see you back here next Friday.